A light in absolute darkness, a lure dangling from a nightmare's face, the most terrifying fish in the ocean, except it's not. Everything scientists told you about the anglerfish, built on assumptions, guesswork, fragments pulled from crushing depths where no human could survive. For over a century, we thought we understood this creature. The bioluminescent predator lurking in the abyss, the monster with the glowing lantern. We were catastrophically wrong. New research has shattered decades of scientific consensus. The anglerfish isn't just one creature, it's over 200 species. Some don't even have the famous lure. And the males? They don't hunt at all. They fuse permanently into the female's body, become nothing but a pair of gonads attached to her flesh. Their eyes dissolve, their organs disappear. They share her bloodstream until death. That's not the disturbing part. The disturbing part is what this fusion requires. A complete abandonment of the immune system, something that should be biologically impossible, something that defies everything we know about vertebrate biology. And scientists just discovered how it works. What they found has implications far beyond the deep sea. It could revolutionize organ transplants, cancer treatment, our entire understanding of immunity. Let's descend. Because the real anglerfish story starts 130 million years ago, and it ends with questions we're still not equipped to answer. Picture the Cretaceous ocean. Dinosaurs rule the land, the Atlantic is still forming, and somewhere in those ancient waters, a fish develops something unprecedented. A modified dorsal spine that migrates forward, settles above the mouth, becomes a fishing rod. The Elysium, Latin for lure. This biological innovation was so successful that anglerfish exploded into every ocean on Earth. They colonized depths beyond 3,000 meters, adapted to pressures that would crush a submarine, evolved in complete isolation from sunlight for over 100 million years. And we had no idea they existed until 1833. That's when a specimen washed ashore in Greenland. Naturalists examined it, named it Lophius piscatorius, assumed they'd found a weird coastal fish, nothing more. They were looking at the tip of an iceberg buried in darkness. The first deep-sea anglerfish wasn't officially described until 1864, a grotesque specimen pulled from the North Atlantic by a Danish research vessel. Scientists couldn't believe what they were seeing. A fish evolved for absolute blackness, a mouth that seemed too large for its body, teeth angled inward to prevent prey escape, and that light, that impossible light, glowing in waters where photons from the sun never reach. For decades, researchers assumed the anglerfish produced this bioluminescence itself, some kind of chemical reaction, internal phosphorescence. Logical assumption, wrong assumption. The light comes from bacteria, symbiotic microorganisms that anglerfish cultivate inside specialized organs called esca. The fish doesn't glow, it farms organisms that glow for it, a partnership 100 million years in the making. But here's what nobody understood until recently. Each anglerfish species hosts different bacterial strains. These bacteria are passed from mother to offspring. They've co-evolved so precisely that the bacteria can't survive outside the fish, and the fish can't produce light without the bacteria. Researchers at Cornell University sequenced these bacterial genomes in 2019. What they found was disturbing. The bacteria had lost the ability to live independently. Their genomes had shrunk. Entire metabolic pathways disappeared. They'd become completely dependent on their host. The anglerfish didn't just recruit these bacteria, it enslaved them. Over millions of years, it stripped away their autonomy until escape became genetically impossible. Now apply that same principle to the males. For 80 years after discovering anglerfish, scientists never found a single male, not one. They found females of various sizes, juveniles, but males absent from every sample. In 1922, Icelandic biologist Bjarni Simonsson examined a female anglerfish and noticed something strange. 2 small parasites attached to her belly. He documented them, moved on, didn't think much of it. 3 years later, British ichthyologist Charles Regan made a horrifying realization. Those weren't parasites, those were males. The anglerfish had done something science had never documented in any vertebrate: sexual parasitism. The males permanently attach to females. Their circulatory systems merge. The male's body atrophies. His eyes degenerate. His digestive system dissolves. He becomes an appendage, a sperm-producing tumor fused to her side. Some females carry multiple males. Up to 8 have been documented on a single specimen, each one reduced to nothing but reproductive tissue. This was 1925. Scientists documented it, published papers, and then basically said, that's weird. Nobody asked the obvious question. How? How does a female accept foreign tissue without rejection? Every vertebrate on Earth has an immune system designed specifically to attack foreign biological material. That's why organ transplants require immunosuppressive drugs. That's why your body fights infections. The immune system exists to identify self versus not self and destroy anything that doesn't belong. The male anglerfish is not self. He should be rejected. His tissue should trigger massive inflammation. The female's immune system should kill him within days. Instead, she incorporates him completely, shares her blood, keeps him alive for years, possibly decades. For almost a century, nobody could explain it. Before we go deeper into the abyss, if this is the kind of content that pulls you in, mysteries that science is only beginning to crack, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. What researchers discovered about anglerfish immunity might be the most unsettling biological revelation of the decade, and we're just getting started. In 2020, a team led by immunologist Thomas Boehm at the Max Planck Institute finally cracked the code. They sequenced genomes from 13 anglerfish species, compared them to fish that don't practice sexual parasitism. What they found redefined everything. The deep-sea anglerfish had lost critical immune genes, not damaged, not mutated, gone. completely deleted from their DNA. The genes responsible for producing antibodies, missing. The genes that create killer T cells, missing. The entire adaptive immune system, the sophisticated defense network that all vertebrates rely on, had been systematically dismantled. This should be impossible. No vertebrate survives without adaptive immunity. Infections would overwhelm them. Parasites would colonize, unchecked. Disease would be constant. Yet anglerfish thrive. How? They've supercharged their innate immunity instead. The older, more primitive immune system that all animals possess. Anglerfish cranked it up to compensate. Their bodies are hostile environments for pathogens, just not for attached males. Evolution performed surgery, removed the exact components that would cause tissue rejection, left everything else intact. This has never been documented in any other vertebrate. Humans who lose adaptive immunity, like AIDS patients, die from opportunistic infections. Anglerfish engineered around the problem, found a workaround that took 100 million years to perfect. The implications are staggering. Medical researchers immediately recognized what this meant. If we understood exactly how anglerfish tolerate foreign tissue, we could revolutionize transplant medicine. No more immunosuppressive drugs, no more rejection. Patients could receive organs without their bodies attacking them. Labs worldwide are now studying anglerfish genes, trying to identify which specific deletions enabled this tolerance. The creature we dismissed as a deep-sea curiosity might hold the key to saving millions of human lives, but there's another mystery, one that goes even deeper. Not all anglerfish practice sexual parasitism. Some species have males that attach temporarily then swim away. Others never attach at all. The 200-plus anglerfish species exist on a spectrum of reproductive strategies. Why? What determines which species evolved permanent fusion and which didn't? It comes down to probability. Finding a mate in the midnight zone. Light vanishes completely below 1,000 meters. The midnight zone begins. Population densities drop to nearly zero. A female anglerfish might go years without encountering a male. When she does, she can't afford to let him leave. Species living at the deepest depths show the most extreme parasitism. Males attach permanently, lose everything. The cost of independence is extinction. Shallower species have less pressure. Males and females encounter each other more frequently. Permanent fusion isn't necessary. Temporary attachment works fine. The deep didn't just shape anglerfish anatomy, it reshaped their entire relationship with reproduction. With immunity, with individual identity. At the bottom of the ocean, the self becomes negotiable. Now consider how they actually hunt. That famous lure, that glowing beacon. We assumed for decades that anglerfish sat motionless, dangled their light, and waited for prey to swim into their mouths. Some do, but not all. Recent deep-sea footage captured by MBARI research vessels shows anglerfish actively manipulating their lures, moving them in patterns, creating illusions. Some species wave the esca in ways that mimic swimming prey. Others pulse the light in rhythms designed to attract specific organisms. This isn't passive fishing, it's active deception. Sophisticated hunting behavior in an animal we assumed was barely mobile. And the prey attraction isn't always about light. Different anglerfish species have evolved different lure shapes. Some look like worms, others resemble shrimp. A few have multiple filaments that create complex silhouettes. These aren't random variations. Each lure matches the dominant prey species in that fish's habitat. Evolution custom-built their fishing equipment for maximum effectiveness. One species discovered in 2018, Lasiognathus dynema, has a lure with 3 bioluminescent appendages arranged to look exactly like a copepod, a tiny crustacean that larger fish eat. Predators approach what looks like food, get eaten instead. The hunter disguises its weapon as prey's prey. That's not instinct, that's evolved tactical genius. But here's what truly shatters assumptions. Anglerfish aren't exclusive deep-sea dwellers. The goosefish, Lophius americanus, common along the Atlantic coast, found in waters as shallow as 10 meters. It's an anglerfish, that flat massive mouth, that modified dorsal spine lure. It belongs to the same order, Lophiformes, as its midnight zone relatives. You've probably eaten it. Restaurants sell it as monkfish, a delicacy. 50,000 tons harvested annually in the North Atlantic alone. When you order monkfish, you're eating anglerfish, the same lineage that produced sexual parasitism, dissolved immune systems, bacterial farming. The deep-sea horror story is already on your plate. This gets stranger. Goosefish don't use bioluminescence. They don't need it. They hunt in shallow water where ambient light exists. Their lures are simple flesh flaps, no glowing bacteria, which means bioluminescence evolved separately. After the anglerfish lineage split, the shallow water species kept the lure, but never developed the glow. Only the deep-sea species needed light. We were wrong about the anglerfish being a unified creature. It's a family of wildly different animals sharing one ancestral trick, a fishing rod made from spine. Everything else diverged based on depth, pressure, darkness. The thing we call the anglerfish is actually a radiation of species as diverse as the entire catfish family. Over 300 species if you count all Lophiformes. Each one adapted to specific conditions, each one solving the same problems differently. So what killed the unified narrative? What made us think of anglerfish as one creature for so long? Confirmation bias, and a really good horror story. The deep-sea anglerfish, with its nightmare face and glowing lure, made better television than its shallow water relatives. So that became the anglerfish. Singular, even though the order contained species ranging from 2 centimeters to over a meter long. Coastal dwellers and abyssal specialists, parasitic males and independent ones. We saw what we wanted to see, a monster. And now that we're looking properly, we find something far more interesting than monsters. We find solutions, immunity hacks, symbiotic relationships, hunting strategies refined over 130 million years, reproductive systems that challenge our definition of individuality. The anglerfish holds a mirror to our assumptions, shows us how little we understand about life at extremes, reminds us that darkness doesn't mean emptiness. It means evolution without witnesses. We've only filmed living anglerfish in the wild a handful of times. Most specimens come up dead in trawl nets, crushed by pressure changes, decomposing before they reach the surface. Everything we know comes from damaged specimens. Frozen tissue, fragments. Imagine building a complete picture of human civilization from scattered bones and broken tools. That's anglerfish research, the creature that taught us about bioluminescent bacteria, about immune tolerance, about the limits of individuality. We still don't know its basic lifespan, don't know its population numbers, can't observe its behavior for more than minutes at a time. We were completely wrong about the anglerfish. And the humbling truth, we still barely know what's right.